Broads are live on the broadcast. Says I have my sunglasses, not my glasses, so vision's gonna be tough. Cleaning, streaming, wifing, lifing. The cleaning is gonna be kind of on a standstill now that July is tomorrow. That's my party month. I won't give it up completely, but summertime and the living is easy. What are you doing? You tapping in when our broadcast started?
I'm the pits. You know me. I'm easily distracted. Like
You
everything's
and
a
everybody else.
everything's a mess on my end. My hair's not greasy; it's wet.
My hair's greasy and it's up in a big bun.
That's not greasy, is it?
No, it's beachy. I went to the beach
Oh,
today. It was lovely. All by
oh,
myself. Beach solo. That's my fave. Well, my fave is when my daughter comes with me, but she was sleeping.
oh, that's nice. So you were telling me about a Vietnam vet. You had a conversation, and I was like, all right, let's just save it. Let's go live.
I really don't want to rehash the splash. My Hun, I don't want that dog jumping in the pool. Sorry. Um, sorry. So I just ran into this Vietnam vet, and how did I know he was a Vietnam vet? Because he was collecting money for some Vietnam vet thing, and he had his hat that said Vietnam vet, and his patches that said Vietnam vet. He was like could have been my dad.
Yeah.
And so I just started like I tried to be very friendly, but I just basically made the points that Vietnam vets should be class actioning the government, that the draft is immoral, and and I just basically said that I don't have an ounce of patriotism yet. I told him my father's story, another Vietnam vet, and I just walked away and I realized that the guy and I were in two completely different conversations.
Hmm.
He just thought I was a Biden supporter. And I was just like, I don't vote. I go, they're two wings of the same bird. And he's just like, oh, well, Biden. He's just Biden. I mean, maybe he was senile, but it was just really discouraging. I was like,
Oh
we
my
were literally
god.
having two different conversations.
I don't know. There. Okay, so I've been going through some YouTube shorts this week. I haven't had a whole lot of time for YouTube, so just did some quick shorts. And there is this one, and it's this I think he's a World War II veteran, and he's crying and he's talking about what the country has become. And it was just so incredibly heartbreaking. I wish I could find it, but I know the way I'm never gonna find it. Hold
So
on.
he was just like a World War II veteran. So he had to be very old then. Because the Vietnam vets are old. Are the
It's
World War
old.
II
It's an
veterans
old
even
video.
still alive?
It's old. Erica.
Oh, maybe it was like from back in the day.
Yeah,
So
hold
he
on.
was crying
Maybe
before.
it was. Hold on. Maybe it was. I didn't pay that much attention. All right, here's. I actually found it, but I want to find it in shorts. All right. 100-year-old veteran. All right. Found it. Can you believe it? It was like lightning. Hold on. You do
Proud of
have
you.
to see this because this is sad. This actually
Oh,
what, you don't want to see it? It's I
this
mean,
it's gonna make me upset. But go ahead, fine, whatever. What else is new?
all right, let's see. Where's the short? Here it is.
And people don't realize what they have. They bitch about it. And nowadays, I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell. It's just not the same. That's not what our boys, that's not what they died for. And people don't realize.
Anyway,
Well, I mean, but people have to face the truth. It's what did you die for, buddy? What did your friends die for?
I
I
know.
mean, was it World War I? It was a bunch of first cousins running that war. They fought over some Ferdinand guy getting assassinated that no one gives a crap about. Like, I'm not buying it. I just
So, but you can. I mean, I feel like with the veterans that was a World War II veteran,
yeah.
and he was talking about. I mean, I was going over the numbers today because I do weird things because I was thinking like, wait, baby boomers don't make any sense because of how many people died during World War II, all over the planet. that it doesn't make sense that all of a sudden our population boomed because of the boomers. So anyway, I was just going over a bunch of numbers, and for some reason I ended up seeing how many people died. World War One, Spanish flu, World War Two. Then I got to Vietnam. I was like, bull crap, only 50,000 people died. That is such bull crap. And it's like that's thrown around like 50,000 people fit in Gillette Stadium.
50,000 Americans.
Yeah.
Soldiers. So yeah, more people, but
well, I mean, American soldiers. Sorry, I didn't make that clear. Of course, I mean, tons of civilians died. Then they had their
over what? The Gulf of Tonkin, a proven and admitted false flag. It's just I can't. So I said to this Vietnam vet guy,
I keep Morrison's father.
What?
That was Jim Morrison's like father or grandfather.
Yeah, well, that was we could talk about the Laurel Canyon psyop anytime you want, and you lived there for a short time, you know. But like all of these rock stars and stuff were military kids. It's interesting, but diabolical, as you say, and how many people are in on it? We've been asking for years and decades now going on. There's just something I just said to the Vietnam vet. I was trying to be polite. I felt really bad. I prayed for the guy after. I prayed a little bit for forgiveness because I don't want to be upsetting old people. That's not what I want to do. But he was upset with me because he thought I was a Biden supporter. He just wasn't getting it, you know?
I know.
But I just like there's no way they're getting my kids for any of their wars. Well, he's like, it's the luck of the draw if you get drafted. I go, it's not the luck of the draw. I said, it's poor people. It's never rich people. Like, those are just the facts, Jack. Hold on, this is Boo. Boo, say hi to everybody. Isn't she cute? Good girl. Can you see her?
Yeah.
Hi, Boo. I love her.
So, yeah, Mike's saying baby boomers only applied to the U.S. The rest of the world, for the most part, was war-torn and still third world. Where is the boom there? It makes the numbers just don't add up. I'm sorry. And I'm not exactly like a numbers person. I'm not like really good at statistics. I would like to see somebody explain how any of it like works for us now to be at 7 billion people on the planet. That's literally makes no sense.
Yeah, there's no way. I've thought that those numbers are bull crap forever.
Oh, they are bull crap. But how come nobody's questioning it? Well, I mean,
because the worst part of the conversation with this guy, okay, is I said, and I know that this is a pipe dream, but I said what needs to happen, I said, is the military needs to turn the weapons around on the leaders, on our own government. The government's at war with the people. And as I was saying it was in front of a supermarket. The person pushing the guy working, pushed it in the carriages. Like I made eye contact with him, and I thought he was going to be like, yeah. But he just like laughed hysterically in my face. And I was like, okay. But you know what? I walk around and drive around. I get around. And like I said last week, there's no graffiti on the wall. You would think that like you would just see like truth or graffiti everywhere. You know, you would see bumper stickers, T-shirts. Like people just don't care. For the most part, the truthers are a real minority. The whole truther sphere is a mess. I don't have to tell anyone out there. Mm-hmm. It's evolving fast, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I had my mom over. I was talking to her about what the France freaking.
Yeah, I didn't know we were talking about France until I saw it in the title. So let's talk about France. I have no idea.
I had to. You say let's do this for fun. So for me, this is the like fun thing for the night. Okay.
Yes, we are doing it for fun.
Okay, so over in France, there's rioting going on. I don't know.
Paris? I assume it's Paris.
It's mainly in Paris, but it's all over the place. It's watching this, I couldn't believe how much it was straight out of the Soros book of Order Out of Chaos. And I was like, wow, they did that here in the US in 2020. Then they did it up in Canada with the truckers. I guess the agenda now is moving overseas. So I have to show you this footage.
I don't have my. I gotta get.
Get up close and personal. All right.
Okay, sweetheart.
Where do I want to start?
All right. I'm gonna just shut my camera off. Well, I don't even know how to. I can't even see anything, but I'm gonna do my best to look. Babe, I might need to get my glasses in a little while. Joe's within earshot, Mary, so you can say hi. He's right there.
Hello, Mary.
All right. So this whole thing over in Paris started with people. It started with people protesting over the pensions. I'm sure you heard about that. That was like months and months ago. And they were like marching in the streets. But then I came across something a couple of weeks ago that really, I remembered seeing. And it's the migrants are doing tent cities, okay? And what they're doing.
Those tents look pretty uniform. Where are they getting them? They all look the same. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have my glasses on. I can see that.
So what they're saying is all these migrants, okay, when already there's civil unrest, all these migrants come in with, all these exactly the same tent. It's not even that they're uniform. There's like, a color choice? You can get green, red, or blue.
Completely.
And they start doing this Occupy Paris movement, okay? And what they were demanding is they wanted to have housing. They were like, oh, we're here to get free housing or whatever.
Where are the migrants primarily from? Are they saying?
They're African. Most of them are African, but it's so orchestrated. So I do have to show you this. So
it's the destruction of Western civilization. They got a problem with the white man. I think it's clear to see. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that these are people that are paid for. They're, I suppose they're not paid actors. In this case, they're just paid to go in, create havoc, and then again, the order out of chaos that we see happen repeatedly, or a new normal is going to be introduced. And so what ended up happening very conveniently with all these Africans in the heart of the city of Paris and their beautiful unified tent cities that, it's so unbelievable. This happens. All right. So I have to show you a little.
I gotta get close. Joe, watch this close in case I miss anything.
All right. I'm so happy. I think I closed it out. I knew I accidentally closed something out. Let's see. Okay, I found it, but I don't have it clicked on. You have to. So this is what's going on there now. As you can see, it looks exactly like what we saw.
And so this is all allegedly over housing.
No. I'm trying to show you what it's over. Let's see.
I'm sorry.
Let me see if I can find it.
Well, in France, people are.
I had raw footage set up. I'm not going to be able to find it now. What happened is this kid gets pulled over and he
answers. I'm expecting.
And he gets shot. All right.
By the police, obviously he got pulled over.
17. He's a 17-year-old and he gets shot by police. Okay. I forget where. Oh, I spelled police wrong. Okay, here it is. All right. Yes, I wish to proceed.
Warning.
Okay. That's what this is all over. All right. I want you to.
Who's filming this?
There's so many things about this that are, to me, like, what in the actual hell? First of all, my husband and I were trying to figure out, we did a whole thing this afternoon looking into what kind of a weapon that actually is. It's like during a routine traffic stop, why is that type of a weapon even being used?
Yeah.
And not only
weapon?
What?
It sounded like a cap gun or something.
Yeah, well, when we looked it up, it was actually it was a semi-automatic. So I mean, I don't know why you would need that for a routine traffic stop, and just the whole thing. It just seems so fake. Dare I say fake? Hold on one more
Oh
time.
yeah, this whole like who's filming it to push the tree that just happens to be right there. And that's in France?
Yeah. So that's what got this whole thing rolling.
Oh my
This
god.
whole George Soros thing rolling. So I
He's
just thought it was
like one
unbelievable.
guy. It's gotta
Uh-huh.
be bigger than I don't know a lot about George Soros, but like he's just like one guy. I mean, there's like
He's
no
the
one to
head
point,
front though to it.
but there's no one to point if yeah. It's like
So now
Matt
when you look at the footage of what they're doing over in Paris, I want to know if there's random like stacks of bricks, like just random sporadically placed throughout the city.
was delivered with all those tents. Yeah, and like perfectly made signs.
Yes, it
Totally.
honestly looks like footage from the whole Black Lives Matter riots that we saw. It's like, are they recycling footage? Is it like just trying to like get your head around like, what is this again? Why are they doing this again?
In there, who knows? I don't know anyone in France. Do you know anyone over there? I like to know. It's nice when you know someone that's there.
I don't know anybody over in France.
Yeah.
Pretty much keep to themselves. I feel like the French people. But so when I was talking to my mother about it, and she was saying, you know how like to talk about, or you don't like to talk about it, but from time to time, a passing comment is, well, I mean, countries don't exist anymore because we're all pretty much run by the same puppet masters, you know? And so what my mother was kind of, tossing around, she's like, is this to make people completely lose any love of their own country? So people are going to be much more open to not being like, whoa, this is my country. And it reminded me of what you were saying to the veteran today.
Yeah.
And
how I won't stand for the national anthem anymore. And yeah, absolutely. But see, I agree with what your mom's saying. That's definitely on there. Like, yay, another thing that we can do and to make people accept the one world. But I already know it's here. They're just coming out. They're just having their little coming out party. Hey, Wheels, do they even need to recycle footage?
At this point? I mean, honestly, no, because I really think that they're bringing these people in. They're like exciting, especially young people. These young people have nothing to like fight for, and they're all seeking something. That's why we're seeing young people become so polarized in their personal positions, because it's a coming of age thing. You got to fight. You got to fight it out. You got to work it out. It's how you pretty much find out who you are as a person. And these young people, what do they have? So you get a couple troublemakers in there. The young people are going to jump on board, and of course, Faye, they're like looting Louis Vuitton stores. Like, what the heck has Louis Vuitton got to do with any of this? Just like here in the United States, what does Nike have to do with any of this? Why are you looting those stores?
But they're probably looting other stores. They're just looting. It's just looting. Again, the same script is being played.
Yeah. I don't know.
If I had to choose between looting Louis Vuitton or Nike, I'm picking Louis Vuitton, but I'm not really going to be looting.
Yeah, I'm not either. So anyway, as the summer marches on, we're seeing that happen over in France. So that's their summer. I have heard that the smoke from Canada is now making its way over to Europe.
Smoke. I watched that really graceful thing that you told me to watch, and just like the chemical smells. It's all very fishy and diabolical. And we were basically under a cover of darkness all of June. We just took the cover off our pool like a week ago because why bother? I'm glad we didn't. And And then, when the clouds clear, you see the lines in the sky. So, I mean,
Yeah, you know what? When I was watching her, speaking of the lines in the skies, when I was watching her and she's explaining, was it her or Dabu? I forget who it was, but how like when the smoke gets up into the upper atmosphere, it turns into like formaldehyde and I want to say like benzene or something. I forget what the other one is, and then it comes back down as a toxic chemical. And I was thinking all throughout history when people lived by burning firewood. They had to cook their food, they had to heat their homes. How come that wasn't happening all the time? I don't think it's just a matter of, smoke from a forest fire going into the sun, heating it up and then making it toxic. I think what's happening is it's pulling down all these chemicals that are already up there when it's doing its natural like wave pattern, or
very
even
good
though it's not a
theory.
natural
Joe's shaking his head. Yes, it would make sense. I see it with my own eyes. I've been watching it for far too long, for over 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the most, it's probably the worst crime I've ever witnessed in my life. There's no words. Now when I see it, I like you, I just do a quick glory be to God. That's all I can do.
I know.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're spraying, but I know I see with my own eyes. And
Yeah.
it's really, I'll never get my head around it.
Yeah. I mean, besides the whole fact that I didn't mean to talk over you there, but it's not even a natural, like, weather patterns we're seeing. They keep saying that it's, this anomaly, like 47 anomalies have to be going on at any given time for the, for the smoke to be in any given area. But it's also like, darn it. I'm sorry, I forgot my point.
No, you were saying like 47 factors have to be in place for what, the storm, for the fires to have happened in the first place in Canada?
No, I don't believe it's fire. I'm wondering if this isn't World War III stepping it up a notch. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come out in like a couple years, like, oh, it wasn't wildfires. It was actually those, the evil Soviets.
Mean old Putin once again.
Yeah. So I don't know. All I know is that nothing's making sense. And I'm always sitting here like, wait, what? And then I try to like research it. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but I'm just literally sitting there and I'm looking at their explanations for all of this, even the numbers of how many people supposedly were on the planet when the baby boom happened. And I'm like, wait,
lies.
Nothing makes sense. It's all lies.
Yeah. It's all lies. It's a psychological, spiritual war. It's above all of our pay grade. It's just, it's inhuman. The hatred of the mind that this is coming from, the hatred they have for humanity is, I've never experienced. I mean, I've had a few enemies in my day. I've had girls literally conspire to try to ruin my professional reputation, and I didn't hate them as much as this is like this. The feeling is mutual. I hate them too, but the problem is who is it? Because they hate us, and they spend a lot of time thinking about doing their little plans. It's very bizarre.
Oh yeah.
What a world. My little theory, I think that wherever we came from, we were spiritual beings, and for whatever reason, maybe we are being punished in a way. Maybe we're being in school. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we wanted to do this. There's no way for me to know. But we were spiritual, and we're having like the ultimate material experience. And boy, are we going to appreciate being spiritual again, I think, after this for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, people are so incredibly overwhelmed. And even if they have that one like inkling, like I'm just talking about the average person on the street who just wants to, I don't know what the hell they want to do, but They
just want to
make their money and live in a comfortable house and not listen to anything ever that might require critical thinking. I mean, they have to tune out so much that it's like, I don't see how it's possible that without it bringing people to, you know, the truth of God, the truth of Christ. Because how can, if somebody is so incredibly like oblivious to the external, how are they supposed to get in tune with the internal? I don't know, not to sound really negative.
No, I don't think. I think that I think 99% of the people that say they believe in God really don't. And they wouldn't be able to do the things they do if they really believed in God. They're probably agnostic. You know what I mean? I'm not here to say. I just know that they wouldn't be able to do the things that they do if they really had a relationship with God, because they know that He could see them anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't really like, you know, I hear like if people say stuff about me or something, and it never bothers me because I know it's not true. Like I've been living my life and I can thank you ever since I saw those lines in the sky that almost gave me a nervous breakdown. I really knew that God was real, and since then, I mean, I've been keeping on my conduct. Like I'm a sinner, but there's nothing you can say about me that, you know what I mean. It's fine because I literally live my life because I know God's watching everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people aren't getting that. They're not, so that's what I think anyway. So yeah, I agree with you. They're not going to look to the internal because they're not willing or able to face the external.
Right.
Everyone's delusional. And they're stuck in their paradigm. But then again, it's also like a mental illness. Like this guy that I talked to, we were literally having 2 conversations. I don't think he heard anything I said except for Trump. Screw Trump. like he was having a political argument. Hold on for 1 second, baby. Will you give Bluto one more chance? Will you give me some more wine, please? Thank you. We're gonna give Bluto a chance. Before Mary and I went live, my dog.
Oh yeah, he was
very fresh.
I don't. So Wheel says I don't buy the wildfire story for a second. Also, I mean, the map also keeps changing of these wildfires, which I don't know if you've noticed that. You're pretty observant, Wheels. Yeah, the maps keep changing, and it's just like, is anybody else noticing this? I mean,
the maps keep changing. I mean, you know about the I mean.
It's not a Mandela effect. It's like, oh, now the fire is a little bit this way or a little bit this way. It's not
like being a Mandela. But the problem is that like I love geography, and the maps have been changing for a while. I love geography, and like that's kind of a big deal. And I have like people won't even. I mean, no one knows what to do with it. But like, yeah, the maps are changing. Well, yeah, the maps are changing and have changed. I can't wrap. I'm still trying to pray every day to God for power, love, and sanity. That's the spirit He's supposed to be giving us. There's Bluto. One more chance, Bluto. He was a very fresh boy. I'll show everyone my cute boy. Bluto! See him?
Yeah.
He's a good boy. So, I mean, are you hearing me? Are we in the same conversation? Because I have a tendency to do that lately, I've noticed. Just like I'm talking.
Well, when I was talking about maps, I only meant they have to keep moving the fires around for it to make, like, even though it still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense, but it maybe, like, people looking at it, they're like, oh, yeah, and then the jet stream, you know? It's like that fire wasn't there last time.
I'm just saying, like, as far as people go, like, I'm not saying, of course they're doing that, because they're also looking at a map of Canada with Alaska next to it, and now Alaska is as big, if not bigger, than the whole United States. Like, you guys went to school, it wasn't like that. So these are, babe, what do you think? You're within earshot. Do you want to jump in here? Because he doesn't have
also thing with the little teeny tiny flame, before Joe jumps in, the little teeny flame on the map, even if they're moving it like a little bit on the map, that's hundreds and hundreds of miles. Like, speaking of how big Canada is, it's like you move that over like a quarter of an inch. That's like several hundred miles. So it is. It's gas.
Well, Wheel says he doesn't buy the story. I honestly don't know the story. I don't even know how did they supposedly start? Is this like because of the sun or like aliens? Who did it? I don't even know. Yeah, go in your yard, Pluto. Get these dogs back.
I know, fresh out of winter in a very snowy region. I guess it was so dry that a wildfire just, maybe lightning. I don't know, Faye. It literally nothing makes sense. This is
nothing.
What I'm trying to say. Now I'm on loop because
Mary, I'm with you. It's very confusing. It's very overwhelming. I mean, I was raised basically by Protestants. Their favorite topic of all was the end times. I mean, I've never been like one of these people like, oh, it's the end of the world. But I just say to my kids, I'm like, listen, the world has gotten really crazy. Just be prepared to meet your maker. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I don't want you to live in fear, but this is like supernatural stuff is going on. But I like people. But anyway, so I would listen to people like debating and talking about the end times, the end times, the end times, the end times. And never, what they talked about never looked like this. You know what I mean? I don't know how to unpack it. I love our conversations. I think of it as therapy, but like, God knows we don't have the answers.
I know. All I can think of as in the days of Noah, but then the rest of the story is really vague. It's like, okay, they were getting married. They were eating and drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then
I hear people have their different. So I always go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm being glib. Of course, there's much more to that story. Yes. But as in the days of Noah, it's like, well, all we know is, but there's more to it. I mean, people just being diabolical. I mean, or just anti-God. Everybody is anti-Christ.
Anti-God and anti-creation. And yes, anti-Christ, including the church. The church is exhibit A for anti-Christ because Christ is the truth and there ain't any truth in these 501c3s. I'm sorry, there isn't. And I wouldn't want to be in any of their position when JC does come back or come or whatever's going on, which I don't know. But I wouldn't want to be standing where they are. Because they're in the 99% of people that say they believe in God and don't. And they're running churches. Oh my God. Oh, God help us.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the poor souls that listen to them. Anyway, what else is new?
What else is new? Nothing. Like nothing worth sharing.
So I wanted to keep talking about the forced behaviors and we were talking about just like how they're changing work and how they're rephrasing things and they want us working all the time. And that's the other thing is like they want us so distracted that like you never even have those moments of silence to think about what's going on. Could you play the clip that I asked you to replay?
Sure. I got it right here.
Are you ready for that? I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I totally let this blow over. And we need to talk about something here.
I got it right here. I didn't click on it this time. So it will play it'll play right. I got to find the short. Here it is.
Wow, my card. Wow. Why are you starting with the kids?
Hey, I'll warn you guys now, if you're going to be inappropriate, I will have supervision down and give all of you a Saturday school for next year. So knock it off.
Okay. What the flipping flop is Saturday school? That is the whole point of that short and probably viral video. It's not about the agenda. It's not about that. They want to slip in that this teacher's threatening these children with Saturday school. By the way, Joe Biden just told us all that There are kids. There are kids. There are
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
Let me tell you.
They've been
So
thrown
we're
that, yeah.
we're the pay rents, okay? We get to pay and raise them and get the wrinkles on our face for worrying about the children, but they own the children. Saturday school, I was listening to Brian and Nathan Sanders, and Nathan Sanders is one of my favorite guests that Brian has on. And something Nathan said really stuck out to me. Nathan, I believe he was raised Mormon. I'm sorry, he was raised something. I'm pretty sure it was Mormon. And he said to Brian, they're talking about like working, and he goes, you know what? Try observing the Sabbath in our society. And I was like, you know, what if you do observe a Sabbath on the Saturday? You can't tell kids to go to school on Saturday. That's not a thing. That's the whole reason for that clip. It's not the agenda, the rainbow agenda. It's seriously for the teacher saying, I'll have you all in Saturday school. And that's what parents should be outraged about.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of when my kids were little and we started getting them into sports. Sports all day Saturday and all day Sunday.
That's right.
It's like no rest. There's, you know, the Sabbath is a day of rest. And yeah, they have these kids like never ever. If you want your child to be competitive in this world, I mean, forget about ingraining anything about like rest, Sabbath, or anything, because it's all set up. So no, you're going 7 days a week, kid. And imagine somebody's job being like, oh yeah, you're coming in Saturdays next year. People would be like, I quit. Like, you can't just.
Now that you say that, maybe it was The Office or something.
Yeah.
There was one episode where they were threatened that they were gonna have to come in on Saturday.
Yeah.
So when my son started playing football, Joe and I had just officially left the 501c3 church. I found the Lord, and what you do when you find the Lord is you go to church. And then I realized that whenever you bring up the church, they were all about money and they didn't want to hear any truth. And they were just posers, to say the least. So it's like, that's it. I live in Massachusetts. Show me a real church that isn't 501c3. Maybe I'll go. But it just worked out because Dorian had games every Sunday morning. And I remember saying to this woman who I'm no longer friends with, we actually had a falling out over the fake pandemic because I wasn't taking it very serious and people were dying. But anyway, I said to her, like, the kids were little, and I was like, wow, it's like if you go to church, you really can't play sports, huh? And she was just like, yeah. That was her response, like, yeah. She wasn't a very spiritual person. And the less spiritual you are, the more you're going to fall for this nonsense.
Isn't Molly Ringwald and Emilio Estevez there? Were they in Saturday detention? I think you're right.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that was Saturday detention.
Don't you forget about me. That was a great movie.
Oh, that movie stank. A bunch of whiny brats. My life is worse than yours. I always hated that movie. Sorry, that's
I never got Molly Ringwald. I am like, why is this girl and I look at her now and I don't even think she's you know what I mean? I never saw it. I didn't understand. But that's just me. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But Fluffy Maine Coon, that is an amazing observation that I didn't even think about. Yeah, they're in Saturday detention. And this teacher's threatening these kids with Saturday school. You better not go to church on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I don't observe the Sabbath. I don't go to church. We do every meal that the kids and Joe and I sit down together with. We do read the Bible. But I want to do more. I want to give a whole day to the Lord. But like Nathan Sanders said, try doing it in our culture.
Yeah. Yes. It's really, that's why, I mean, granted, it was Sunday. Like Mike saying, I guess the Supreme Court just ruled in favor of Sunday Sabbath. I don't know what that's about.
Wow.
But, I mean, we do have Saturday and Sunday off for a reason. Like over in the Middle East, I believe it's Is it Sunday and Monday, or is it Friday and Saturday? It's probably Friday and Saturday, right? They have, that's their weekend. So it was, the weekends were like kind of like there for religious observations to like fit every, you know. And we used to here in Massachusetts, we used to have the blue laws that prevented things from being open unless it was like a convenience store or something like that.
I remember that when I was little. Nothing was open on Sunday.
Right. And now it's to the point like no day is special. Like there's even holidays aren't special anymore. You can go, everywhere is open New Year's Day. Notoriously, everything was closed on New Year's Day. It was supposed to be a big celebration. People were supposed to be at home hungover, you know. But
don't you worry, Mary. That's where I am.
but now, like everything's open.
Traditional.
Yeah. So it is messed up how far we've gotten away from like the whole like day of rest, because what do you do on a day of rest? Do you go out to like a restaurant, because then you're making somebody else work, because the business is going to see it as an opportunity to make money? Do you go shopping? So there is a lot more to observing the Sabbath that, you know, used to be just part of the culture, but now it's completely gone.
I guess I'm interested enough what Fluffy said about the Supreme Court just ruled Sunday Sabbath. Like, just I thought it was separation of church and state. I need to know more about that.
I have no idea. I suppose I could look it up. Okay, the court. All right, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm getting a little bit of a headache. The court on Thursday ruled an evangelical Christian worker who was denied a request to take Sundays off from his post office job to observe his Sabbath was discriminated against. All right.
That's good. It ruled in favor of the guy.
Yeah. So then, yeah. So people have the right to take off. I remember my son played hockey with a kid who was a Seventh-day Adventist, and he wouldn't show up for any games or anything, any practices on a Saturday.
Yeah, they take that. My mother was raised Seventh-day Adventist. They take that very seriously.
Yeah, so I can't believe it went all the way to the Supreme Court. Like, that's kind
interesting. And I like, I don't, you know how I feel about the government, but I agree with that ruling. But then again, it's like here they are pretending that they get to make these decisions for us. You know what I mean? Like, you're not my authority. Who are these losers in black robes?
Yeah, I know. And also, it's like, how, as I said, how did that even get all the way to the Supreme Court?
Yeah, what they
it's like as a society, we're so far removed from people's personal liberties and things like that, that it's like that was even a question that couldn't
and
observe.
Now I'm the first one to admit that we're living in a society where now people will just use that ruling to get the day off. They don't even know what a Sabbath is. They might like Google it to find out, but they don't want to work Sundays or Saturdays or whatever day is the Sabbath for them. Whatever day they want off, they can now call their Sabbath, and there you have it.
I agree.
It's not a spiritual thing for them, though.
These people have absolutely no moral compass. They're just a bunch of takers. And, it's a day off. I want the day off. So I'm going to use my, not even my religion, somebody else's religion as an excuse.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Religion is a mess in the United States right now. The biggest thing is the 501c3. The second biggest thing is that no churches speak out against usury, which is a fundamental problem. But I don't know. And then you get the whole. I've been thinking a lot about the ortho grift that all these people are doing, and I'm sorry, we're not Catholic. We're not Catholic. We're Orthodox because Jay Dyer became Orthodox. It's like I'm sorry. It's just.
What kind of Orthodox do you know?
Well, they're just Orthodox, and it's
Orthodox,
Mary,
what?
It's the oldest religion, Christian Orthodoxy. It's the oldest religion, older than Catholicism. We're not Catholic. We're not Catholic. We're Orthodox. Like,
I'm just very Orthodox. What I mean, I hate if you're gonna start throwing around labels then you have to label yourself
It's
Orthodox. What?
Christian.
Orthodox
If if you Googled Christian Orthodoxy, that's a religion. It doesn't need to be like an they put their ethnic in front of it, like if it's Greek or Russian or Ukraine, but it's just Christian Orthodoxy. But it seems a little bit like a LARP to me. Okay, first Jay Dyer becomes Orthodox, then they all become Orthodox. We're not Catholic, we're not Catholic, we're not Catholic. We're Orthodox. It's the oldest religion. It's the oldest religion. It's like, guys, you just joined a church that went along with the medical psyop. Like, if you believed in God, you wouldn't be able to do that. At least my Catholic friends were raised Catholic. So save it.
I got to look this up. I have no Christian Orthodoxy.
It's older than Catholicism, Mary, and it's not Catholic. It's not Catholic. I'm just saying what they say. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It bothers me. Anyone, like any truther that would join a church that went along with the psyop. It's like, talk about a lack of discernment. Come on.
Even with this, I'm seeing like Eastern Orthodox Christians. They're still. I'm very confused.
It's Eastern Christian Orthodoxy.
Oh, so they are Eastern?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm seeing a lot of icons.
They love their icons.
Okay. All right. That's what I was kind of wondering. So there's that. Okay. All right, Mike. Mike has to go pick up the kids.
Nice. Where are the kids?
They're just out with their friends. But I don't care what people are doing as long as it's grounded in some sort of a spiritual belief. Besides, like, if you're going out there with it. Because I mean, this is what we need. We need more of this in like society. It's the place where like people come up with personal boundaries for themselves, which I think is really important. They come up with they come to accountability for their own even their just simple faults that they have, that they, things they want to overcome, and the acknowledgement of like, I'm not perfect, I'm not a golden child. Yeah, so whatever, they can have it, they can be Orthodox. I give it my stamp of approval.
I stand by not giving it my stamp of approval. They can do what they want, but I think that they're exhibiting pride. It's the definition of pride, and it's just so they can just tell people all about it. It's like, I don't need to. I'm talking to you about my faith, and I talk to my husband, but I don't need to tell anybody. Like, it's me and God. I don't need to put on a show, and it seems a little bit like a show that they all kind of like converted with Jay Dyer. Do you, boo. That's all I'm saying.
See. So what you're saying is it's like almost trendy. It's a trendy thing to do now in certain circles.
Very trendy.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeing. And if I'm misinterpreting it, and if I'm wrong, and if I'm bearing false witness against my neighbor, then I hope that God will help me see the error of my ways. Because I spend a lot of time in nature and praying, and I am sorry if I am doing that, if they're sincere. I just don't see. It seems a little bit of like a show. That's all for me.
The Greek Orthodox. So Emilio's man, he's Greek Orthodox.
Nice. He's probably raised
the church pissed me off during lockdown. He went to a Serbian Orthodox church. They did not shut down or mask. It was really difficult for people because, again, Faye, I mean, with what your beliefs are your beliefs. I know people who do count on going to services and things like that. We talked about this, fellowship and, whatever they're doing, whatever they're doing, they were heartbroken. And a lot of people got the big idea. They were let down. And this is another thing. This is like, it's not on par with what they did to children, but it just shows the abuse that just became so normalized. It's like these people were like taken advantage of. They were Their feelings didn't matter. They couldn't worship. They couldn't meet together. And I think it really, really hurt a lot of people.
I think that you're 100% right. It was abuse.
It was
There's no other way to look at it. I remember posting, this is when I was still on Facebook, and I posted all like the traits of an abusive partner. Like, what would you do if they told you what to wear, who you could see, and when you could see them? It was all like the red flags that you're in an abusive relationship, and it was all happening to people. You're right. Honey, will you do me a favor? Will you get me my brown or my pink glasses, whichever one you see first? I'm going to put on my real glasses because I'm really not seeing anything. Mary, you know what? If I came off as being harsh, it's really coming from a place if I feel bad for people. And if I'm being too harsh on the ortho people, because I do listen to them a lot and I agree with more than I disagree with them, honestly. Yeah. But it just seems like it's kind of like all lockstep. And I'm related to Catholic people. My father was Catholic. And if I was going to go back to church, I would go to Catholic church. And it's like, they always just make a point to be like, oh, we're not Catholic. We're not Catholic. We're not Catholic. We're older than Catholic. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but you just joined because Jay Dyer did. Like, don't. All I'm saying is the serious Catholics I know have been doing it their whole lives. You know what I mean? It's not because some YouTuber did it. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I just go off the topic. I'm sorry.
If it's bringing people to the Lord, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Lord at this point.
Here I go again with the I don't know. Oh, I
don't know either. Yeah.
But it's funny because you do see like all these great names in the early church, and it doesn't matter what denomination you are, right? And everybody claims all these, like, oh my gosh, Polycarp is for some reason the first one that popped into my head.
Polycarp, remind me. I'm not practicing Catholic, but I love the saints. I love, because I'm open to the that we're living in the post-millennial kingdom, and I'm open to the possibility that these saints actually were resurrected and ruled alongside Jesus Christ. I love learning about them. Tell me about Polycarp. What?
Hold on. I don't know anything about Polycarp. I just pulled him out of the air because I know he was really, really early. He was like 500s, I want to say. But everybody
I know that. I just got a text. I know the Catholic Church is 401c3. I think you meant to say 501c3. Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I know that.
Who's texting you? Who's blowing you up?
I'm going to leave it anonymous for now. If she says I can say it, I will.
Everybody claims all the greatest minds is the bottom line. They're like, oh yeah, we claim them. It's like, it just doesn't add up, folks. Another thing that just doesn't add up.
History doesn't add up. I have a degree in history. I was always a history buff. I loved it. I loved learning about it. And, and now I just like, you're right, Mary. And that's probably like my biggest fear is I don't want to ever like come up here and I don't know anything. I really don't, but I'm fascinated by what's going on. My head hurts. It's overwhelming, and it's a lot. It is a lot, You aren't going to start. I know these dogs don't care. That's what I do. I love doggies. I say to God every day, thank God for dogs. Because thinking about like this digital prison they want to put us in virtual. For some people, Mary, if it wasn't for their pets, they would never be off a screen. I swear to you too. I went to the doctor. I thank you for anyone that, even if you just said a little prayer when I asked you, excuse me, I've got a situation here. Hey, that's enough. It's my dog. He's a troublemaker, and they're friends, but they're having a good. So anyone who prayed for the bump in my head, Mary was right, and it's benign. I just have to get it removed. Thank you, Mary. And I wish I did. I felt so good, I don't have to worry about it,
Right.
Thank you. But I said to my joke, hold on. Oh, that's wrong. I said my joke. I haven't been to the doctor in so long. So this little lady, little attractive doctor comes in. She's wearing a mask. And it's like, whatever. When in Rome, I guess. And so I didn't have to wear one. And I'm going to kill these dogs. Sorry. It's like, Joe, are you listening? Please help me. Stop it. You're fresh. I gotta tell you about the dog. So she comes in and she was just really sweet. And she's like, "So what do you do?" And me with my wise ass attitude, I was like, "I'm a mother." Like it's like because I wanted to. And she's like, "Oh, is it?" It's like she really was confused. She's like a female doctor. And I was like, "Well, I have a job. I'm like, I work with dogs. I love working with dogs." And I said my old faithful joke that I say to the normies, and they love it because I guess they're like really concerned about this AI stuff. So I said it to the doctor. I go, "Yeah, I can't be replaced by AI. The dogs aren't buying it." Mary, I felt like a stand-up comedian. She was like, ah! She was
That's
like, "You're
amazing.
right." She's like, "You're right." She's like, "Yeah, you're right." Because I think that maybe she's a little worried about her job with the AI.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what we
So-
watched? This is so embarrassing, but last night we watched, oh my gosh, Boss Baby.
Oh, I've never seen that one. It always looked kind of creepy. But
It's
that's funny that
fun.
you say that because I've seen a meme of the Boss Baby a few times this week. Get
So
naughty, Pluto.
it was, I have my 2 teenage daughters were watching it for the cringe. They're typical teenage girls. They like to put on something and then talk over it and make fun of
Sure.
the whole show. But
They're lucky
anyway,
to have each other. I wish Lena had a sister. I love that. Go ahead.
but so I had to keep shushing them because I got really invested in the movie because it was Baby Corporation versus Puppy Corp. So it was Babe, and who was in the pie chart, Fate was getting all messed up because more and more people wanted puppies than wanted
Yeah.
babies.
Well, so I wasn't going to tell you this, only if it came up. So the Leo. Honey, did you leave Boo in there for a reason? Oh, well, Boo's the good girl. I don't know why you're letting him have all the fun. Sorry. Aw. I'm sorry, Mary. I might put the chair in front of there and you know what? I'll get a gate. I'll leave Boo up here. Mary, can you just say hi to the chat if there's I don't even know if there's anyone in there. Remind me of the babies versus puppies. I want to tell you what the Leo trainer I work with said a real doozy to me.
Ooh, all right.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I got to go help the dog.
That's fine. So Soul Alpha just got here. How you doing, Soul Alpha? Emilio's man was here. Mike was here, but he had to go pick up the kids. Hey, Mel. Yeah, Mel has actually shared some Jay Dyer on with me before. I can't remember. Is he the one? I forget what the heck he was talking about. I listened to a lot. Is he the Alien Fallen Angels one? In Wheels. And I think, Frank was here before. And Joe, but Joe's out fighting with dogs.
You stay up here with me.
Flying from Boston to LA, there was nobody between here. Yeah, Middle America is empty. Tell me about it. I drove from Boston to LA and back. On the way out, we drove the northern route. And on the way home, we drove the southern route. I will say the southern route because we were going through like Texas, all through like Louisiana. That was more populated. But on the way out, it was a ghost town out there. Lots and lots of like farms and woods is all I saw. So they love us all being crammed into the coasts. I wonder why. So I said hello to the chat. So yes, tell me about your Leo.
Hi to anyone that's listening now or later. I thank you so much. Mary and I really do this for like fun and therapy, and I hope thank you and great. So I hope I didn't come off like too harsh about anything. I don't know. I just
You're fine. You're first of all, you're entitled to your opinion.
When I talk about like the organized religion, guys, it's really honestly because I have compassion and love for the people sitting in the pews. That's it. Like, I know that they were hurt and they were being abused and lied to like everyone else. That's who I care about. That's all.
So about your Leo friend.
Oh, Leo, the Leo trainer. Well, you know her. So she was going to the beach. She lives alone, and she spends a fortune on her like skin. She's got to be pushing 45. She no kids. Her skin could pass for like 25. Like, so whoever's doing her work, I'll give her that. But she has no kids. That's the real secret. I'm sorry. Like, women that don't have kids, they look younger than, because we worry, of course. Like, we have our hearts outside of our body. So anyway, I was spraying her because she's going to the beach. So I was spraying her back with the spray, as I do before she leaves. And there were kids playing in the pool. And she's usually like a wicked positive person. Like, that's her shtick. You know what I mean? She's a trainer. And
Yeah.
she goes like this, Mary, like her voice kind of slipped. She goes, I despise children, like that. And then she kind of caught herself. She goes, oh, is that bad? And I said, unfortunately, and I was like, unfortunately, I think it's kind of a common feeling these days. And I said, but it's not their fault. It's their parents' fault.
Mm.
And it was just really sad to hear someone say it out loud, you know?
You know what? That is the parents' fault, because I'm sorry. Yeah. I did it, like, even a cute, like, little kid. And this is, okay, this is me talking. I love kids. I love.
Yes, you do.
I mean, how many peekaboos do I have to do before you're like, all right, thanks, and you take your freaking kid and you entertain your own child, you know? And
I need context. What are you talking about?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. I know peekaboo, but like, where is it? Like the supermarket
or the grocery store? Mm-hmm. Just at the grocery store, and it's like they'll just like stand there with their kid. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a jerk, but they stand there with their kid, and eventually it's like, I already entertained your child. Now take your child elsewhere, you know? And I just feel like people do act like everybody in the world loves their child as much as they do. And you have, as a parent, you have to expect your kid isn't as adorable to everybody else as they are to you. Not everything they do is funny. Some people find it completely and totally obnoxious. Mm-hmm. And also, like, no, I don't want to entertain your child. I got things to do, and I got 8 of my own at home that need entertaining if I have the energy. So people do come on way too strong with their, but they do the same thing with their dogs, Faye.
Well, but this is where we're different. I've told you before, the only time I believe in love at first sight is with dogs. So I went to the beach today, and I met, hold on, I looked him up when I got home. It was like a Storm something. So this guy had these 2 beautiful dogs, and I've never seen them before. And one was a puppy. Storm Chaser Shepherd or Storm Cloud Shepherds. They were called Storm Cloud Shepherds. And I mean, I love them. I might never ever see them again, but I would take both of them to live. They're the most beautiful. So they look like long-haired German Shepherds, and up close they have like blonde and amber hair. And there was a puppy and there was a grown male, and I love German Shepherds, but these are the most 2 beautiful ones I ever saw in my life. Love at first sight. That's how I am. That's why I work with dogs. I immediately love them. I don't love. Sometimes I see a baby that I love right away. I've met babies that, like, if the parent let me take them home, I might say yes. With puppies, for me, it's pretty universal.
No.
It's interesting. Yeah, no, I know not with you. You're busy.
Nope. Also, it's like just being out for like a walk or something. It's like, I'm not going to be rude, because again, I know how much people love their dogs. That's a member of their family, you know? But then it's also like, okay, yeah, I almost just swore, get your dog away from me now. You know, just get him away now. And
that's not right. You shouldn't and no one should let their dog be all over a person. That's not good dog editing. My daughter and I used to play a game. This is back before the fake medical psyop. So I used to pick them up from school, and my daughter was a good girl. She'd always come to the car first, and we'd be waiting for her brother, Mr., who the hell knows, he would, is he going somewhere? He'd usually come 10 minutes later and tell me where he was going or get in the car. Yeah. And so I had my dog Dudley. Do you remember my dog Dudley?
Yes.
course. And my dog Dudley was an angel. I'm gonna see if I can get a picture of him. We seriously played this game, and it was called "Does this person have a soul or not?" Because Dudley would be in the back seat with the window open, sidewalk side, everyone walking by, and like almost everyone that walked by would be like, "Oh my God, hi!" You know what I mean? And then some people just would ignore him and were like, "Oh, well, they don't have a soul."
Some people, Faye, you have to accept some people don't like dogs, just like some people don't like kids. I mean, I liked it. I thought he was very good.
I guess I'm kind of struggling with that acceptance. Because and you know what, I don't particularly love kids. I like them, and I have my favorite kids and stuff. But hearing that girl, like, that's her shtick, is like, I'm Miss Positive and I'm always gonna look at the bright side and I'm a trainer, and then she's, she's gonna be that way. Her voice slipped and she was like, I despise children.
Yeah.
It was very
I mean, despise. What a word. I'm not big into dogs. I would never say I despise a dog. That's a sick thing to say. And to say I despise children,
it was
that's
very strange.
What?
It was very strange. And when I that's why I'm telling you, her voice slipped a little bit. It got a little low. I think we're dealing with mass possession. And it's linked to, I thought a lot about what I finally found the words to say that it's in the pharmakeia is in our ecosystem. And I think that, I used to think that maybe COVID or low earth was the strong delusion, but I think the Bible says they use pharmakeia, and I think that we're dealing with like mass psychosis, and we're all there to a certain extent. You got to pray for sanity.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was very alarming. I won't be asking her to babysit now that I don't need a babysitter anymore. But
I'm M10.
Some people are made, not begotten.
I had to check something. Okay. Some people are made not begotten. So begotten, not made. Yeah.
M10 is this like, what kind of, Mary, is this like and that's your name?
I have a feeling I know who it is.
Oh.
But here we go. It's B.
Yay. Oh. Hi, B.
So yeah,
One of my favorites. I'd put her in charge. She'd whip this place into shape.
Yeah, absolutely, she would.
She really would.
She's pretty. I'll say she's open-minded too. So it's not going to be a total dictatorship, But we'll know what's up. But
she's funny because she would say that she doesn't love dogs, but I never met a dog that didn't love her.
I know.
So funny.
But dogs love everybody, don't they? I mean, that person sounds like a real sickie, and thank you God that they never had children.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine that would be so neglected? That's another thing.
I go back with this girl. She wanted to meet a guy and have one baby. That was her dream. But after the medical psyop, I think that she's older now, and she's not meeting Mr. Right, and she's accepted.
So children make her bitter. That's why she despises them.
In happier news, I was at the beach today, and I saw some beautiful young moms with just a bunch of kids at the beach, and I just.
Oh my God.
I just remembered those days of like meeting other moms at the beach, and when you're a young mom and with the young kids, they were all having a blast. It was just, it was like good for them, and I was all by myself. Like, okay, let me shut my eyes now.
Yeah, it's nice in the peripheral. I mean, after having done it as many times as 8 kids, my youngest is still 5, so I still have littles. But it's like, I do look at these young mothers with their babies, and I'm like, oh, thank you, God. I loved it while it was happening, but I don't think I could do it again.
Not me.
Too damn old.
Yeah, it's but I would go back for a day. I would trade anything to have them little for a little while. Of course, yeah, yeah. And I'm just like,
Ray lost his mom at the beach.
when
She
you were
left
little, Ray.
and took off.
Hi, Boston Ray. Boston Ray, thank you for sharing our stream. You're so sweet. You're so supportive.
You know,
Wait, if he's having Boston Ray, I think Michelle's having her baby soon. So
Already?
everyone
That went
soon,
by
I think this weekend. So everyone send prayers to Ray and his growing family. Hi, Boo.
do they
She
know what they're
doesn't know.
having? Or is it, we'll wait just in case he
I
wants to
don't
make
know.
an
Yeah.
announcement or anything.
Ray,
That's
so
exciting.
It is exciting. Joe said I might see. Joe said I might see Ray on 4th of July, and you are definitely invited, brother. So hopefully they won't geoengineer it too bad, and we can have a. At this point, I'm just hoping for no rain, which is sad because I used to hope for like sunshine. Now it's like whatever.
Yep. Excuse me.
Bless you. You have a cute sneeze. You're like.
Excuse me. That was
So
class.
what else did I have? I had one other thing. So about the war, that another thing that I got from Ryan Stavely.
All right, can you? Oh, you want me to react? I'm sure.
No, it's just I'm very fascinated by the Mandela effect, and I'm sorry if anyone is like doesn't know a lot about it. You can't just Google it and watch YouTube videos. The best researchers, in my opinion, Brian Stavely is numero uno. And then you have Wake Up or Else, who does it from a Christian scriptural perspective, and they're both excellent. So I'm fascinated by it. So I watch Brian a lot. But I was just thinking about like the war, and we're always talking, Mary, about like the war, the war in our mind. And what like number one they want you to do is to deny your God-given senses. Like, no, there's a pandemic. Everyone's sick because we told you. Like, no, you don't remember the Lion and the Lamb. No, because we told you. It's all about denying like what the senses the Lord gave you. So that's what I just thought. There's like really a war on the senses God gave us. Thoughts on that? Like,
my nose is about to drip down my face.
Sure.
I have to. Sorry. I'll be right back.
Any thoughts on that, Joe? Joe's within earshot. No. What's wrong, sweetie? Yeah. Where's Bluto? In his yard. Bluto's very fresh. I hope M10's okay. So that's all I was thinking about is that I'm just always being told not to believe what I see with my own eyes, hear and experience with my own senses. It's definitely a psychological war. Spiritual too.
Was Joe talking? Sorry, I just kind of barged back in.
Joe's being strangely silent. He's right there though. He's looking handsome as ever though, baby. Mm-mm.
Yeah, well that ties into nobody having their hey wait a minute moment. I mean, it's not upstairs isn't working right for people. I think
it's linked to the pharmakia. That's it. Like that's the real strong delusion. It's massive.
What I wonder when it was smoky here and everybody was getting headaches because it was smoky. I wonder if the media didn't talk about that and we were walking around being like, why the hell is it so smoky out?
So you noticed the smoke down here. I noticed that it was very dark.
I have pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
As we know, I'm a professional dog walker, so about 6 hours a week, and that's a light week. I'm out walking. I never felt any sickness. I think I
didn't get sick. Got a headache, but I mean, who knows if that was related? You know.
I mean, I get a headache just thinking about this bull crap all day. Seriously. And I will say this: I took special note today. I took my poodles, my beautiful standard poodles, for a nature walk. Down to the creek, and it's a beautiful walk. That's the one where I showed you that random wall that goes on forever in the woods. Yeah. Nature is lush. And the Kismet Spiral, who is this European woman who I really like, we have a lot in common. She calls like fat people weeble wobbles. I'm sorry. I just like her. So anyway, but the Kismet Spiral was saying that nature is very, very lush, and I couldn't agree more because I'm out there. And I'm talking about like I'll go, and then the next day where I'll be walking, they'll be all white, like wildflowers. There were no flowers there yesterday. They grew this high overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. And like I hear truthers talk about like trees imploding from inside, and the doom and gloom. I have to be honest, I don't see it. When I walk in nature, it's thriving. So thank God for that.
Mel, that's my sister. But
My
But
sister
what I
from
was-
another mister.
where I was going with that is, if we were like, why is it so smoky out? If other people, literally, if the media wasn't talking about it, if they would even have seen it, or if they would just
Ooh.
with the exception of like New York City, which was out of control. But I'm sure they could say that that was just haze. Oh no, maybe it was so bad. But here, definitely, it's like, look at, it's smoky out. Like literally all around my house, the trees were all like.
And
It
I
looked
know
really-
I believe the New York story was true. It's crazy too, because I guess like when the red smoke came in, because it was a truther who I trust, who's been in my yard before, who lives in New York City, was talking about it. I believe him. He's a real person.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was amazing to me is I guess like the day that like this red smoke rolled in, it was like supposedly some video game came out, and there were billboards all over New York City.
Was it
Welcome to
Diablo?
hell. Welcome to hell.
Yeah, New York City, Welcome to Hell. What was that? It was like Diablo or one of those types of games. Yeah, I did see that, and it was a huge poster. It was like, if you look at the size of the windows next to this huge poster.
Well, it goes
Yeah,
back
and
to
it was-
people searching internally. So I'm just wondering, like, if I'm a normie, and the sky all of a sudden becomes red, and then I notice billboards that say "Welcome to Hell." Like, am I gonna have a little internal dialogue? Like, maybe there's more to this world, and maybe I need to have a little conversation with God.
with the exact date on it, the exact same day. What was that? When was that? It was June, I want to say like 15th, around there. But it was the day that the sky turned red, was the day that on the billboard, "Welcome to Hell." Crazy. I mean, right. You'd be like, yeah, that's a coincidence.
Right. Like, if the time I told off my mayor, and it was like, I just wonder like what went through his head, because he was walking and some guy was blowing smoke up his behind as usual. Whenever I see the mayor, he's always surrounded by other men with big fake smiles on, telling him how great he is. So I walked by him. He was on his way into a funeral, right? So like, he's going into a funeral, and some stranger walks up to him. I'm like, I really need to talk to you. And I know that like he was expecting me to be like, thank you so much for your response in the pandemic. But I said to him, and this was like during this, and it was during summertime, and they were still making the kids in summer school do this. I go, the fact that the kids are being masked in this heat in the school is child cruelty, and you know it. And he goes, okay, and he turned to walk away. And I said to his back as he was walking away into a funeral, I go, you need to think about your immortal soul. And that's what but I just wonder, like, I just feel like if I was just a normie and some stranger came up to me, and I was walking into a funeral, and a stranger came up to me and said, I need to think about my immortal soul, like, I might be like, maybe I do need to think about my immortal soul.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't
Like, who was that person? Why did I just get that message?
Right, I'm going into a funeral, and a stranger just literally I wasn't planning on seeing the mayor that day. I was going for my fitness walk, this is before I walked dogs. I used to go out on my own without being paid.
Wait, it came back? I didn't hear it came back there. I heard that it was like down in like the Virginia area. Anyway, it's exhausting. I'm getting tired.
It is exhausting.
I'm getting tired going through all this. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's next. I don't know what they're doing to us. This is like you. This is why I try not to be too hard on people until they show me their stripes. I try not to be too hard on people because it's like, yeah, they're killing all of us, or they're doing something to all
Yeah,
of us.
hey, I take care of very, very, I'm talking wealthy dogs, and the lines are over their house too. You know what I mean? Their cookouts are gloomy too.
I know. It said, "Welcome to Hell, Diablo 4." So,
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah, I just like if I was I mean, yeah, I've called it a game of chicken, you know, like it's just gonna keep getting crazier and crazier until they wake up. But then I was talking to this veteran guy, and I didn't mean to upset him, but he was upset because he thought I was a Biden supporter. So that's hurting my head now. Like, how could I be talking to a fellow human being and having one conversation, and I left there, and he thinks I'm a Biden supporter?
I know. I have no idea how Vietnam vets or Korean vets could still support the country that they fought for, or supposedly that they fought for. They did.
I asked my dad once. So I asked my dad once because I was a truther, and I used to argue with him about it, and God bless him. I talked to him all the time. I talked to my dad after I was like, Dad, I didn't mean to insult that veteran guy, you know, and I don't know if he heard me. But anyway, I would say to my dad, like, Dad, why don't you class action? Like, you were lied to. It's all like, it's facts that you guys were lied to and sent over there. You were 17, you were drafted, and the rich kids in your town weren't drafted. And his answer to me, and I don't fault him for this, he said, my government has compensated me and continues to this day. And, you know, and I think that his benefits, I don't know how much he got, but he got VA treatment and he got some money every month. And I'm not faulting him for that. But he said that he basically made it clear that he had received his compensation. I asked him. So at least he felt his way.
Yeah. Also back to just real quick, I don't know. Now I feel like we're going full circle, so maybe it's almost time to wrap it up.
We do that a lot. Thank you.
Also back to like the 50,000 with Vietnam and the Korean War. It's like, isn't that the whole like POW MIA thing is usually for Vietnam? It's like, how many MIAs are there? I should have looked that up, because if there's not another 50,000, I'm still not buying it.
So my dad, I never read the book, but I remember, and this is even before I think I was still voting. I wasn't even as much of a truther as I am now. My father had a book called so MIA stands for Missing in Action. My father was reading a book called Myth Making in America. And it was like, at the time, it was debunking the MIA stuff.
Really?
I remember when I voted, I used to be a fan of John McCain, which is so embarrassing to say, because he had that big story about being a POW.
Hanoi prison.
Was he? I mean,
that's what his story was. Yeah. And he was a prisoner of war, and he was hung up by his arms, and that's why. Is that him? Is that McCain?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, I guess.
Yeah,
but now, like, his daughter's demonic. I don't know. That's one thing. Just like, so mass possession. I know you're not into. Brian has been showing. So, you know, I'm seeing people that are possessed, and I know that you are too. And and I want to know, like, seriously, if like my eyes ever change or my voice change, please feel free to throw your hands on me and say, "Be gone, demon." Like, I'm fine with that. Like, please. Like, I saw the trainer's voice change. I've seen people's eyes change, but so with the Mandela effect, anyway. So the Ed McMahon Mandela effect is that people think he worked for Publishers Clearinghouse, okay? But what's weird is that Publishers Clearinghouse now has put out these videos that are like, it's so obvious, like damage control. Like, if there was nothing to, it's so random. Like, why would you even have, like, oh, people think Ed McMahon worked for us and delivered checks. And then there's this guy, right? No one's ever seen him. No one's ever heard of him. And he's like, I'm the guy that delivered the checks. I'm the guy that you saw. Again, deny everything about your senses. Mary, the guy they're presenting is demonic. Okay? So I don't know. I think that maybe like real Christians need to start laying hands on people.
Yeah.
Please do it to me. Anyone who, like, seriously, like, please feel free to like lay hands if you see something. But like, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the video.
Oh, I've
Mary,
seen it.
oh,
Yeah.
you right?
Yeah.
He's demonic. Demonic.
I don't remember coming away with it. That I came away with like, it was upsetting. It was upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Again, treating us like we're morons. And I don't agree with every single thing that people say is the Mandela effect, but
Yeah.
that's definitely one that goes way back. It's one of the ones that made, my whole like perception like close in on itself and then expand again. It was like, what?
And I know, and like we don't even. It's not even about but like the presentation. You got to go back and like freeze frame it with the guy. Like there's something with his eyes. It's not right. I go back. It's got to be. It's like the movie They Live somehow. It's so weird. Again, we're just like spiritual beings that we're just doing something here. I don't know what it is, but try to focus on the good. I've been trying to count my blessings, and that's a really good place to start in the day. I know it's old school, but seriously.
That's not
Right?
old school. How is that old school? You got to count your blessings.
Because I think that from the beginning of time, whenever it is, it's like that's been like a real human being's go-to when things are bad and confusing and hard. It's like you got to count your blessings. Joe's good at that. Joe's the glass half full in this relationship. What are you reading?
Don't touch McCain. It's rocket fuel. What?
Who's that?
It's Ray. Is his head about to blow off his shoulder? Because yeah, I don't know what that means. I'd like to.
You're okay, boo boo, good girl.
So yeah, he's laughing. Just that's pretty much all we had this week. Keep your eyes open as always. I mean, it seems to be happening faster and faster. I mean,
and I do feel bad for the kids. They do give me hope. They're beautiful. Like, oh my, I loved what you said a few streams back, Mary, about like every time a new soul's born, God's just like, come on, guys, here's another chance. Like I think of it when I see these beautiful glowing children.
yeah.
Just thinking about what the Leo trainer at work said about I despise children, and I did say it's their parents' fault, and but and I do feel bad for the kids because parents, we're all being mentally abused, and what was I saying to it's like I'm raising children, and my kids are older, thank God, in a world that's unrecognizable to me. So
imagine
hard for us.
On that note, once again, there is a certain amount of accountability. I mean, talk about a complete lack of discernment that a lot of these parents have, and they're not doing their job in protecting their children. Now, I'm not. That was a general statement. You can tell these people, you can tell them when you see them who they are, what their priorities are, and it's not their children. And they had no business having children, and they use children as like an accessory to like their 6-bedroom home, 2-car garage, 2 dogs, two children or 1 child, private schools. It's all about the stats, and they have to have the stats. So it's like, some people, I'm usually the compassionate, like, oh yeah, but Faye. But in this case, I'm going to take it because you're taking that road. I'm going to take the opposite road and be like, no. People need to try harder. They need to try harder to protect their children and make this place better than what they got here.
100%. But the problem I see is that, you know, Biden said, these are our kids. I think that they're buying, you know, you got mom and dad working full time. Like, I love my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law. I told you, they're millennials that have took the download. Like, their kids are in daycare full day when they're 3 months old. God bless you.
Thank you.
And like, it's just we're, you know, it's like, okay, it's becoming accepted that, okay, I'm a parent, but this is a team effort between me and nanny government to raise the children.
Well,
And
I
they
remember
really-
that even going back to Hillary Clinton, you know?
I don't
You know,
want
oh
these.
my God, this is on point. This is on point. Many people love their kids. Few cherish them.
Mm,
That's the distinction right
that
there.
gave me chills.
Yeah.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
I've gotten so, this whole thing has worn me down so much, and it says I'm worn down, and I complain about it all the time. I said to Lena today, I'm like, I failed you as a mother, and she's of course such a good girl. She's like, no, you haven't. Like, Lena, I'm like, you're on screens too much, and I'm like, I want you to experience life IRL, in real life. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you come by it honestly, honey. I said, I'm not pointing fingers at you. And she was really sweet. She really, really liked what Birdie had to say last stream. She sat down in the living room and she like maybe didn't she, hun? She like maybe fast forward to Birdie. Like, I was so impressed with Birdie. I might have told, I was walking a dog today that belonged to a doctor, and I was talking to his wife, who's a lovely person. We were just kind of talking about it. I told her what Birdie said about, I was just like, oh, my niece. I just say niece when I'm talking about them, you know, because we're cousins. I'm like, my niece is 16 years old and does breaks from technology because she recognizes it can cause depression. She plays hockey. She doesn't play as good after. And I'm talking to a doctor's wife, and I'm like, you know, and child psychologists aren't saying that. So she's very ahead of her time. And good stuff, Birdie, for sure. I don't know how I got on that. But anyway, yeah, I feel like a failure as a parent because I'm worn out and tired all the time.
Mhm.
But like
Yeah.
with these flyers, one thing we didn't even talk about is, and really Graceful was talking about it. So they were so successful making us all stay at home with their fake ass cold sniffles. It's like it's like climate lockdowns. Oh, you better stay in. The air quality is no good. They want us home, glued to screens all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I said that when we first heard about the fires. It was super low hanging fruit. I mean, climate lockdowns. People were talking about those coming back in 2020 when people started seeing how easy it was to make everybody stay home. And they were like, look at all the reasons why they could use this again going forward in climate lockdowns.
100%.
Was one of them.
Yeah, Lucky Haskins said that right away too.
Yeah. So list of sex ed curriculum.
Yeah, I watch her stream. I like her. I haven't had a chance to watch this week.
Sex ed curriculum. I mean, that's why I pulled my kids out of school. I mean, things weren't that hot. How many years ago? 10 years ago when I pulled my kids out. Is it 10? How old is? Yeah, it's got to be 10 years ago. I mean, they're a bunch of filthy, disgusting pigs. And I don't know why they want to talk to them.
I'm glad that Faye is here because she said, I quote her all the time, they're obsessed with their parts, and sex is for them the most it's the most spiritual thing they're ever going to do in their lives. They're obsessed with it, and they love to defile it, but they wouldn't know good sex if they don't know what it is. They don't know love. They don't know that. They don't know love. They don't know making God the foundation of your relationship. I can just speak for myself, and I don't want these perverts teaching my kids about sex. Thankfully, my kids are older, and they don't really do that here in where I live.
Yeah, they're older. I guarantee that they do that. But hold on, there was a video my son showed me, and my son, if he's not laughing, then you know he loves to laugh. So it was once again the Freedom Tunes guy, and it was a person with like pink hair being like, "What do you mean I can't talk to your kids about sex?" Yeah. And they were crying, And they were like, no. And then she was like, at the end, it was like, you made me straight. Now look what you've done. Because I couldn't talk to your child about sex.
So I want to just not really challenge you. I think that they want to portray it that everything's falling to hell. But at the end of the day, there's human beings working at these schools. And when I say that they're not doing that at my school, my daughter was told that the world could possibly be flat by a public school teacher. I've seen their sex ed curriculum, and like I've met the people that are teaching it. These are people that have no desire to talk to kids about sex. They're just like reading it. They don't even get into homosexuality at this school. So like every time I drive, they're in high school. Every time I drive by that high school, I pray the Holy Spirit over all the children, all the teachers, all the janitors, everyone involved. And God has been faithful with that. And I mean, thankfully, my kids are old enough. But I'm not just saying this, like, because, don't you agree? Like, we've had, I mean, the whole co-fib thing is terrible. But hey, you know, but that was every school in the country. But I'm saying, like, seriously, the sex ed really hasn't been a problem in our town. And I've met these people. They don't want to do that. There are people like the pink-haired person that are, and there are plenty of those people in the schools. So pray for if you can't pull your kids out of school, then try to spend time praying for the school, and just that's all. I
pray for the school, even if you can take your children out, because some people can't, or they don't know to. You know.
Amen.
They all need prayers.
Yeah, you're right. Even if you're not directly involved, we're all involved. We're all connected. Amen.
Well,
Mary.
I mean, when our kids go out. Oh, one more thing. I was watching the thing on the Duggars. Your sister recommended it to me. The Shiny Happy People on Netflix. Oh gosh. So
I never heard of it. The Duggars. Those are the ones like they have like 20 kids or something.
19. And the thing is, basically, they were in a cult, and this big cult and everything, but they harped so much on the fact that they were homeschooled and how that was so weird. The fact that they were Christians and they were raising their children with certain standards as so weird. They really like took the perversion of the family and they made so many umbrella statements with it. So do not recommend. Don't watch it.
Okay.
Do not support these pigs.
Yeah, I have something that I can't really recommend either. It's so, and thank you for that. You don't recommend. Anyone that has a good show, please do tell me, because we all like to turn our mind off and be entertained. I started Silo with Joe. Very interesting. It like totally sucked me in. Have you heard of Silo?
No.
So Silo, it started off really good. There's all these people. They're in a silo with 144 floors. 144, you know that number from the Bible, 144,000. Yeah. So there's 144 floors underground. And their history has been erased. They don't know who put them there. They don't know how they got there, but they know that the air outside is poison.
Okay.
So it's like a really good premise, like lies about history, hidden history, you know, trying to get them away from the natural world. But then, like, after a while, like, just the dialogue was written by AI all day. It just became really boring. I was watching with Joe, and we had like 5 minutes left of the show. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. Every conversation ends up the same, and just tell me how it ends up. Tell me if they get out of the silo.
That's also the impression that I got when we were watching Boss Baby. Is that it did seem like it didn't seem like it was written by people either.
Yeah. Well, I like Matt from Quantum's theory, and as usual, he's a very, very, very smart guy. And for all we know, he could be AI, but I don't know that. I love the way his mind works. But he was saying that it was deliberately destroying everything. And then when they admittedly have an AI production, it's going to be amazing. And people will be begging for the AI. So it's like, yeah, I can see that.
All right. Your dogs are killing each other.
I'm sorry. They're fine. They're good doggies. Anyway, always a pleasure, Mary.
Yes.
Happy July, everybody.
Yes.
Have some fun. Summer used to be 3 months, but they've really whittled it down to one to one super fun month we call
Also,
July.
I do have to correct you. August is nothing like the fall. I don't know where you live, but now fall doesn't start until almost like November around here.
Yeah, I don't go with that. I go with the months. For me, it's June, July, August is summer. Well, it's just because like school starts before Labor Day and stuff.
That's true. That is true.
I don't. Dorian doesn't listen to my stream, right? He gives it a like, I think. But my son's going to be 18 in September and fall. We're gonna go on a fun trip. We're gonna surprise him. We're gonna. Hon, he won't listen to this, right? I think we're gonna go to Niagara Falls.
Oh,
We're gonna drive up, Mary, because Joe's coworker I met. There's this place called Niagara Safari, and you know me, I love like you go animals and beaches. I'm like, sign me up. But so the kids have never been to the falls, but this Niagara Safari is like a real like the lions like come right up to your car. I'm like, take
Sounds
my money. What?
sounds dangerous. All right.
Yeah, wait.
I'll
You know,
talk
I
to you.
held- What?
I said I'll talk to you next week.
All right.
All right.
That's it. Final thoughts? Like you're like, okay, Faye, I've had enough of you.
No, I have no final thoughts. You? Up. No sound. No sound. No sound.
I said I'll quote your brother Matt, and I'll give or first time caller. I'll give my final thoughts on my deathbed.
All right. All right. I'll talk to you later.
God bless. Feel better.
All
Bye.
right. Thanks.